Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here today because today is the time for another TBR video. So it is end of June already, the first half year of 2022 is over, nearly over. We have about 3 days left. So it's time to pick July TBR. But before we do that, we need to recap how I did in my previous month, in my June TBR. So let's just do that right now. So the first book that I picked for June was a book released in 2021, and for that I picked Finding the Mother Tree. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to get to this one. I still want to, but somehow I just didn't. I don't know what happened. I just didn't get to it. But I still really want to, so I hope I will be able to get to it in July, even though I'll be traveling most of the month, so maybe it will go into August, but we will see. But this is definitely a step back on the board because I didn't read it. Next prompt we had Fire on the Cover, and for that I picked Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin, and I'm still reading this. I'm now 539 pages in. So I have about 200 pages left. So I definitely count this as a read book for the game because I will finish it. Next up we had North Pole. So I asked people online to pick book out of 4, which book I should read, and they picked The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. And this I am about halfway through, so I have this much left. And I will also finish this one for sure, so this is, again, a read book. And then the last prompt was last chance book, so read a book that you are thinking of unhauling. And for this I picked City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. And I read this. Well, actually I listened to the audiobook, and yeah, so I read this, so that's a good point. So out of 4 I read 3, that means 3 steps forward, 1 step back, in total 2 steps forward. Also, another thing we need to discuss is that in June I bought 4 books. So first book that I bought or received / bought was Book of Night by Holly Black, and this I got from Illumicrate. This is beautiful Illumicrate edition. Then I bought The Girl in the Spider's Web by David Lagercrantz. I think this is the 4th book in the Millennium series that is written by Stieg Larsson, and I own the first book. And then I saw this book in a second-hand store that is the same edition as the first book I own, so I bought this one. And then I bought 2 ebooks that were on Kindle Daily Deal, and that is After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Somehow I just feel like I want to do all these Taylor Jenkins Reid books, so maybe I will do a vlog while I read all of them. I have currently 4 books by her and read only 1 out of it. And then I bought Beneficence by Meredith Hall. I just loved the cover and I loved the sound of it. There are lots of people who said it was amazing, beautiful book that should be talked about more, so I just thought I would check it out. And the themes what the book is about, the main themes of the book seem to be very much what I like to read about and what I like to discover more. So those are the 4 books that I bought, so 4 steps backward on the board, additional. And then also I didn't read a book that I bought in last month, so I will roll a die to see how many steps, additional ones, I will go back, because I bought books and I didn't read them, so that's my punishment. But that's all, and now it's time to play July TBRvatar. Okay, here is our board. We last time ended up here at the last chance book. And as we said, we need to go 2 steps forward for the books I've read and didn't read. And then 4 steps back for the books I bought. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I roll a d6 die, normal die, to see how many steps back for a book I haven't read. And it's a 2. That's not too bad. Not too bad. 1, 2. Okay, so this time we start here. That's not too bad, but I need to do better this month, or well, the next month. So let's go for roll number 1 and see what we get. And we start strong. It's an 8. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, North Pole again. That's what I had last month as well. Nice. So the first roll we ended up on North Pole again. So I had to put up a poll, and I did it the same way as last time because last month I also stopped by at the North Pole. So I asked on my Instagram, Twitter, and on Discord what book I should read out of 4 that I picked. And I picked 4 ebooks because, as I mentioned, I'll be traveling, so I want to read as many ebooks because I don't want to bring any physical books with me. Don't judge. And so I gave options as Sign of the Eight by Benjamin Libert, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. Then I picked The Weight of a Thousand Oceans by Gillian Webster. And the last book I picked was The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abida Ray. And so I put it up yesterday because, again, that's when I did the board part of the video. Anyway, people voted. This time it was very tight between 2 books, but in the end one of them won. So the 2 books it was tight before was Anne of Green Gables and The Girl with the Louding Voice, and the one that won and that I'll be reading in July is The Girl with the Louding Voice. So I'm really excited to read that book. I heard so many amazing things and I actually have no idea what it's about. So let's read what that book is about, shall we? Okay, it's the unforgettable, inspiring story of a teenage girl growing up in a rural Nigerian village who longs to get an education so that she can find her louding voice and speak up for herself. The Girl with the Louding Voice is a simultaneously heartbreaking and triumphant tale about the power of fighting for your dreams. Despite the seemingly insurmountable obstacles in her path, Aduni never loses her sight of her goal of escaping the life of poverty she was born into so that she can build the future she chooses for herself and help other girls like her do the same. Her spirited determination to find joy and hope in even the most difficult circumstances imaginable will break your heart and then put it back together again. Even as Aduni shows us how one courageous young girl can inspire us all to reach for our dreams and maybe even change the world. So that sounds really cool and I'm really excited to read it. So let's go for roll number 2. Okay, let's go for roll number 2. And that is a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we passed by the tear bending, which I'm really happy about, and we get a prompt. So let's go to our prompt ball. I added so many prompts, so now we have a ball. So I'm just going to pick one prompt. Oh, one fell out. Okay, that one then. We'll do this one. And it is Friend picks your next read. Alright, that is fun. Cool? Okay, from roll number 2 we got Friend picks your next read. And this was perfect actually because I didn't realize yesterday, but I then remembered that actually I had exactly same prompt for the mini Star Hop readathon that unfortunately I haven't finished yet. It was last week and I haven't finished it yet, but I still intend to finish the board. And one of the prompts was Friend picks your next read, and I asked my boyfriend to pick a book for me, and he picked The Crank Palace by James Dashner. This is novella in the Maze Runner series following the Death Cure book. It basically describes what happens from Newt's point of view in the Death Cure. And I will not say more than that because spoilers. But this is 150 pages long, and yeah, this will be very fun read, I'm sure. Very interesting, because we all love Newt. Okay, so it's time for roll number 3. Okay, roll number 3. Is a 6. Nice. Going fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another prompt. Okay. This. It's a Believeathon prompt and it says read a book with illustration. Read a book with illustration. That's kind of challenging. I don't have that many books with illustrations, but let's see what I get. So now we got another prompt, and it is read a book with illustration. And I had to think about this one a lot. I was actually searching all kinds of lists and everything, and then I remembered that actually Rebel Girls sent me another book of theirs that they are releasing soon. And they sent it to me on NetGalley, so I think I will be reading that. It is 100 Inspiring Young Changemakers. And that is, I think it is 250 pages long, and yeah, it is again a middle grade children book about young, amazing, inspiring women, and I love to read these books because they definitely are inspiring and they are beautiful and they do always have illustrations. So that's what I'm going to be reading for this prompt. So let's go for the last roll. Okay, last roll, roll number 4. And it's an 8. We are rolling so high numbers this time, nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bending scroll. Now I need to go check what that actually means. So I found out what bending scroll means. And bending scroll means I either get to buy a book and read it, or read a book that I have from library or borrow from a library. And I have one book that I borrowed from library and I really want to read, and I need to because it is one of the 12 books that I'm supposed to read in 2022. Video coming. But the book is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. It is a chonker, and right now I'm reading The Night Circus by the same author and I'm loving it. But I also hear that people who love The Night Circus don't like Starless Sea, and the people who like Starless Sea don't like The Night Circus. So we'll see what happens to me. But I'm really excited to read this, so this is my pick for Bending Scroll. So that's all for the TBRvatar. Then usually I would pick also a read for my book club, Green Books for All. However, I will be traveling most of the month, so I will not have time to read more than this anyway. So I will take a break in July. I will still try to read Finding the Mother Tree that I was supposed to read this month and I haven't managed. So hopefully I will have time next month, and then that will be for the book club. Otherwise, I will not be picking book for July, and then we'll come back in August. Also, we have a book club with G at her Patreon, and the book we'll be reading is How to Lose the Time War, I think it's called. And I've been really interested in reading this book because I love the sound of it, and it is quite short as well. And so I think I will be reading that. I found it on Script, so I will read it, hopefully. And yeah, so that's all for my TBR for July. Anyway, to sum it up, these are the physical books I'll be reading. We have The Starless Sea, we have The Crank Palace, then there is the NetGalley copy. I have 100 Inspiring Young Changemakers and The Girl with the Louding Voice. And then on top of it, How to Lose the Time War. So this stack looks very small. Yeah, I think that's great, because even if I manage to finish all of these books, it will give me some freedom then to pick whatever book I want to read outside of that. So I'm happy, and yeah, that's all. Let me know in the comments if you read any of these books and what books you are looking forward the most to read in July for yourself. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!